Hi, welcome back guys, this is your friend Greedy Fanfics with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Deku Became a Single Father at the Age of 16? All credits for this video go to their respective authors, so please support the real author. Check out the link in the description for more details. Please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Izuku had watched the whole scene. Mirio had let a little girl go back to her abuser. How can he call himself a hero if he was willing to bring her back to her abusive home? Izuku had seen the signs and knew them well. Sure, he was a villain, but he always had a soft spot for kids, especially with kids that were in and needed help. Izuku looked at the man who had seen him earlier today. He met with crusty lips and it ended badly. Deku jumped right behind Overhaul. The girl noticed and she ran over to Izuku. He knelt down to hold her. She ran into his arms due to more impulse than thinking logically. Iri, come back here. You are already in enough trouble as it is. Overhaul almost growled. Izuku looked at the little girl shaking. Don't look okay? Izuku whispered. Iri looked at him confused but nodded. Overhaul was about to take off his gloves, but Izuku had noticed Overhaul only used his quirk with his bare hands. He used his quirk, which lit up his eyes. The daggers came flying towards Overhaul. He dodged them and tried to attack Izuku. Izuku used his quirk to lift himself from the ground to just be above him. His quirk was good at making objects float, but floating himself was always a problem. Overhaul looked surprised, then the daggers came flying back and cut one of his arms off. Overhaul looked very straddled, which Izuku took advantage of and cut off his overarm. He had the daggers come back to him. Iri was shaking but hadn't looked once. Izuku took out his phone and called Crusty Lips. Kurogiri opened a portal which Izuku opened while dragging Overhaul, who was screaming in pain. Stop yelling. It's really annoying. Oh. Don't look, sweetie, I don't want you to see his hideous face. Iri tried to look out of pure curiosity, but Izuku didn't want her to see him. The League looked at him a little surprised. Toga, twice, you can deal with him. I will take care of this little sweetheart. Kurogiri, can you give me clothes and band-aids for her? Izuku said, referring to Iri. Why the hell do you have a kid with you? Dabi said, noticing Iri. Isn't it clear? Our buddy over there has been abusing this poor girl and I will watch for her for a while. Izuku responded. We can't keep this kid, Deku. Crusty Lips pointed out. I just want to make sure she is okay first, then I will give her to the heroes. I am not an idiot unlike some people here. Now excuse me, you are freaking her out. Crusty Lips threw a bit of a fit. Dabi protested. Kurogiri gave Izuku the stuff he asked. Toga wanted to see Iri, and twice was dealing with Overhaul. However, Izuku knew they would overwhelm Iri, so Izuku brought her to a private room and began to take care of her. My name is Midoriya Izuku, you can call me Deku. Tell me, Iri, about yourself please. Izuku wanted Iri to get as comfortable as possible. He knew he couldn't have her here, that would be very risky as a villain. He would just leave her at Aizawa's doorstep. He knows that the less he could do for Aizawa. Deku, you saved me. Thank you. Iri spoke. This warmed his heart. I can't leave someone behind that's in pain. Especially a sweet little girl like you, said Izuku. Tears started forming in Iri's and she hugged Izuku. You're my hero. Izuku almost cried. He wanted to keep her. No. You can't keep her. 1. She is not a pet. 2. She is not safe here. Izuku hated to admit it, but he grew attached to Iri. While taking care of her for a week, Iri had been the cutest person in the League of Villains. Toga loved how cute she was. Dabi only liked Iri because she yells fuck Endeavor every time she saw a photo of Endeavor. Crusty Lips only looked forward to getting rid of Iri, and Kurogiri just adored Iri. Iri was closest to Izuku. She followed him, listened to me, and loved being with him. Izuku acted very fatherly towards her. He wanted to protect at all cost, and was extremely protective of her. The day Izuku had to give Iri to the heroes was hard at first. When everyone said their goodbyes, Izuku tried to drop off Iri on Aizawa's doorstep. He made sure she was asleep, left a note, and even knocked on the door. He knew either Aizawa or Hisashi would answer the door. Izuku thought that would be the last time he saw her, but imagine his surprise when he heard her calling for him to slow down. Izuku was horrified that 1. She woke up and 2. She was chasing after him. Izuku didn't take her back and tried the next day to leave her at Aizawa's doorsteps again. She followed him again, which frustrated Izuku. The third and final time he tried to leave Iri, he just broke into Aizawa's house and left her there. She still found her way to him. Iri, why do you keep following me? Izuku asked, now really annoyed. Iri caught up to Izuku and looked at him. Because you are my papa, she shouted. Izuku's face turned red. Wait, what? He said. You remind me of my papa, and so I don't want to lose my papa again. Please let me stay with you. So you can be my new papa, she shouted while crying. Izuku stared at Iri and started crying. He, a 16-year-old teenage boy, picked up the 6-year-old little girl and went to the nearest adoption center. Normally this would be months at best, but Deku was very persuasive. He just simply threatened to blow up the building, which made the system work faster for him. He got the adoption papers very quickly. He quickly had the system approve the papers. Iri was now 괡ᴇ Iri and Izuku was now a single father. Returning to the league was a nightmare for Izuku. He did cause a bit of a mess when adopting Iri, but Deku did make sure he wouldn't get reported today. What you did was risky. We are villains, Deku. What the hell are we supposed to do with this kid? Krusty Lips shouted at him. Hey! Krusty Lips, she isn't just any kid. She is my kid. I didn't go through all that paperwork for nothing. She is my daughter, so put respect on that. Krusty Lips was about to say something, but he got cut off. Shut up, Krusty Lips! Iri shouted. She was taking a small nap, but Krusty Lips woke her up. Izuku was busy being a proud dad. Toga and Twice were laughing their heads off, and Krusty Lips stood there processing that there were now 2 Dekus. That's my girl. I am so proud of you, sweetie, Izuku said, hugging his daughter as she laughed happily. Izuku left before the league could yell at him. Hey, you guys better be quiet. Iri is going to go to sleep, and if I find out any of you wake her, I will kill you for that. Good night, Izuku yelled at them. They surprisingly listened to him. Izuku went to a private room and was quietly humming to Iri. She slowly fell asleep as Izuku tucked to bed. Good night, my little princess. Trying to be a single father turned out to be very hard for Izuku. Having to be a villain, make sure Iri was safe, and had all supplies Iri needed. Getting a babysitter was also proven to be difficult as well. Leaving Iri with the league was out of the question. Krusty Lips would just try to get rid of her. Toga was a wild card. Dabi wouldn't have a clue on what to do with her. Twice would either take care of her or get her killed, by accident. And Kurogiri would be the only reasonable person, but he couldn't depend on him since he also was busy taking care of everyone else. So Izuku got into the habit of taking Iri with him. Was it dangerous to bring a child with him? Of course it was. However, he was responsible father after all. He would normally find a spot that was away from him and keep her there. Iri didn't mind, and if she ever needed anything she would find him. He noticed she had a talent of finding him very quickly. Today was unlike every other mission. He hit Iri, and was busy doing this stupid task Krusty Lips was on his ass about. Everything was going well until he heard it. A loud explosion was heard from outside along with a lot of yelling. Kacchan is here. Just great. I could have been watching videos with Iri, but no. I have to do this stupid job. Izuku ranted to himself. It was such a pointless job and was annoyed that he and Iri could have been something far more fun than this. He heard the familiar yelling and remembered that Class 1A hadn't met Iri yet. He didn't want them to meet her. Well, not yet at least. He didn't want them to try to kidnap her. He loves Iri after all. She is his daughter and wanted to keep her. Deku. You did a real shit job hiding yourself this time, Bakugo yelled as he burst through the door, followed by Todoroki, Uraka, and Aizawa. Oh no, Aizawa is here. Deku thought. Iri loved heroes and wanted to be one day. Oh, the fucking irony. Eraserhead was her favorite hero and she hated Endeavor. This made Izuku proud to know she has standards. I didn't think I would get the attention of heroes. I'm kinda upset they didn't send someone actually worth my time, Deku remarked. This pissed off Kacchan, which Todoroki had to hold him back. Come with us, Midoriya. Aizawa spoke, trying to keep things professional. What happened to Problem Child Sensei? Deku taunted Aizawa. I am not your teacher anymore. Now enough of this or else. Aizawa was cut by noticing something. A small girl was running over while screaming, Papa Deku. Deku turned around in panic to his little girl here. What is wrong, sweetie? Deku said, ignoring everything right now. His princess needed him. There is no more apple juice, she cried as she ran over to Deku and hugged his leg. Sweetie, did you drink all the apple juice at once? Deku said about scolding her. Maybe. She was confused. Sweetie, I have told you that you can't have too much apple juice once. You might get a tummy ache, he said as picked her up to calm her down. What the fuck is this? Bakugo said. Deku realized that more of Class 1A was coming. Damn, they brought the whole class here, huh? Well, looks like they are meeting her sooner than he wanted. Hey! There is a child here. No need to curse. Deku scolded Bakugo. Midoriya, who is that? Todoroki asked. This is my daughter. Class 1A meet Iri, Iri meet Class 1A. Deku said with a friendly tone. Daughter? Aizawa said slightly impulsively. Yes, I adopted her. She is the light of life. Also, please don't yell, she doesn't like yelling. Deku informed them in a matter-of-fact tone. You are 15. Aizawa screamed. No, I am actually 16. Deku corrected. You are still a child, Aizawa said, looking like he might pass out. I am actually a teenager. Deku corrected again. Aizawa sat down on the ground needing to process this. Aizawa wondered if he was going to get a heart attack from this. Deku, do you have any idea how dangerous it is to bring a child here? Uraka scolded. She wasn't here. She was somewhere else completely different, but she just has an amazing talent for finding me. Deku explained. We need to save her from Deku. She is not safe with him, Ida said in a bit of a panic. You're right. She isn't safe with him, Mina said, preparing to fight. Now, I know it's irresponsible to bring her. Do you have any idea how hard it is to find a babysitter? I am a single father, I am trying my best here. Being a single father in this economy. Deku explained. You are 15, Aizawa said, finally coming back to earth. I am 16. Get it right. Deku was annoyed and it was clear Iri wanted to go. Fuck this, if Krusty Lips throws a fit about this he will just threaten him with chapstick, Deku thought. You are Ezrehead. Iri noticed Aizawa. Can I have your autograph? Iri asked. Aizawa was very confused as he wasn't used to kids knowing about him. She is a huge fan of yours, sensei. Deku explained. I want to be a hero one day when I get older. Iri told them. Isn't it ironic? Deku said sarcastically. Sarcasm goes over Iri's head for now. Deku knew he needed to work on that. Enough of talking. Hand that kid over, Deku. Bakugo screamed. Deku rolled his eyes at this. Wait, spiky blonde hair, likes to yell a lot, is really annoying. Are you Kacchan? Iri asked. Bakugo slowly nodded his head yes. Iri gave him the middle finger and said, fuck you, Kacchan. Deku laughed and hugged his daughter proudly. Bakugo looked ready to fight a child. That's my girl. Anyways, as much as I love chatting with you all, it's almost Iri's bedtime. You guys should be more worried about the building next door, Deku said as he reached into his pocket. He pushed the button on the control which exploded. This distracted everyone. Deku used this to escape the area. He liked to put small bombs around the area he worked. It was never enough to cause massive destruction, but it was enough for the heroes to worry about. He held on to Iri as they left the building. He went into Iri's hidden spot, grabbed all the stuff he left for her, and left. When returning to the league he had to deal with Krusty Lips giving him a hard time for not finishing the task. He let him rant. He got candy apple for Iri which was happily eating. Okay, I hear you Krusty Lips, but I have had a long day. Iri, time for bed. Deku said as he got up. Can I stay up a little longer? She pleaded. Yeah please Deku? Toga also pleaded. No, she needs sleep and I am not leaving her with you, Deku said as he picked her up. Come on, I am like her laid-back mom, Toga said. No you are not, Iri only has one parent and that's me. Plus you are more her crazy bisexual aunt if anything. Deku said. I'll take it, she said excitedly. What about me? Twice asked. The crazy fun uncle, but I can't leave you alone with her in fear you will lose her. What about Dabi? Twice asked. The depressed uncle that everyone stays away from. Shigaraki? The uncle no one likes and needs a shower. Kurogiri? The uncle everyone loves because he is the best. Now I need to get Iri to bed. Stop asking stupid questions twice. Krusty Lips began to throw another fit. Dabi was making an offended noise, and Twice and Toga were embarrassing Kurogiri. Deku got Iri bed and finally got her to fall asleep. Deku thought about today. He was a little upset that Class 1A met Iri, but it was worth it. He thought he gave Aizawa a heart attack and was pretty sure he did. Spoiler alert, he did more than once. Deku never regretted being a villain. He knew he was screwed no matter what side he chose, so he chose a side that at least allowed him to have fun. However, it turns out being a villain and single father don't exactly work together. He desperately needed a babysitter for Iri since he would be busy traveling the whole day and he didn't want to drag Iri with him. She didn't want to leave him but he had to. After all, he had a ridiculous dream that he had been putting off. But Papa Deku. Iri complained. I am sorry princess but I have to. The only problem I have is that I need a babysitter. Unfortunately princess no one wants to help for some reason. Deku said very cluelessly. Why don't you let us watch her? Toga asked innocently. Absolutely not. Why not Deku? We are responsible. We can watch her. Toga, you will teach that being stalker is normal. Twice will lose her. Dabi will burn her if he gets too frustrated. Krusty Lips will just try to kill her. And Kurogiri is busy today so I can't give her to him. So there is no one else that can watch. Deku explained. Hey, I don't want to kill her. I may not like her but I don't want to kill her. Kurogiri is too attached to her. Krusty Lips said. What gives the idea I would burn her? Dabi asked. You are joking, right? Deku said. Look in the mirror, daddy issues. Iri speaks. Deku laughed as he hugged her. Toga and Twice were laughing as well. Even Krusty Lips was laughing. And Dabi stood there with his feelings hurt. This only means one thing. Deku said defeated. What? Oh no, Izuku don't. Toga pleaded. I don't have a choice. He reluctantly. It really isn't worth it. Don't do this. Twice pleaded. I have made up my mind and really don't have any other option. I need to put my pride aside for my daughter. He said although his face screamed he wanted to do anything but this. Frowned as she didn't understand what her dad didn't want to do. Aizawa had 3 cans of beer. He still didn't believe a 16-year-old, a 16-year-old boy had adopted a child. This was madness and the worst part is he legally has all rights to her. He had no idea how the hell he pulled that off but he did. Damn it problem child. What are you trying to do? Give me gray hairs before 50. He swears he is going to get a heart attack because of this kid. He was stressful as a student, him being a villain made his blood pressure raise, and now that he has a kid. He was going to die early thanks to this kid. He could only imagine what that poor girl is going through. Although when he talked to Mirio he knew the girl was scared for her life. Meaning she is self-preservation but she didn't seem scared of Midoriya. In fact she ran straight into his arms when there were a bunch of heroes. So she really did feel safe around him. Hi sensei, Deku said inside his home. Hey problem child, Aizawa said. It took a minute then Aizawa jumped back ready for a fight. Relax sensei, I come in peace, Deku said with hands up high. I need a babysitter, the League of Villains are unfit babysitters, and you are the only person I trust with her. If you try to keep her I will blow up half the city, got it? Okay good. Have fun with Dajawa my princess. Deku said all of this without giving enough time for Aizawa to process. He drops Iri with a bag while he gives her a hug and a kiss on the forehead. Deku left, leaving her standing there waving him a goodbye. She turned to Aizawa and excitement took over her. You are Eraserhead, she said going through her bag. She pulled out a notebook and ran towards Aizawa with a pen in hand. Can I please have your autograph? Also, can you go over the note I made about you and your quirk? Papa Deku writes notes on everyone's quirk. He has been teaching me to do the same thing. I have a hard time since I am not that good with writing but I'm getting better. Iri rambled. Aizawa couldn't help but think about Izuku on how he did that exact same thing. He noticed how similar they really were. Like father, like daughter, was the only thought that came across Aizawa's head. As much as he hated to admit it, he knew that Izuku did love Iri as if she was his kid. He would have to give Izuku that. Why couldn't Midoriya find a difference? Aizawa said aloud more to himself. Being a single father in this economy? Good luck with that, Iri responded. Aizawa stared at Iri. You really are Izuku's kid, huh? Yes, what of it? May you be sassy. Well, I live with a League of Villains, what do you want from me? I cannot do this by myself. Come on, I am taking you to my class. They are probably less likely to commit a murder. Sounds like a challenge. Aizawa forgot who her father was. After all, Izuku didn't get the nickname Problem Child for nothing, you know. Now it was Iri's turn to live up to the title. Aizawa went to the dorms with Iri, the daughter of one of the craziest, smartest, and annoying villains Aizawa had the unfortunate dealing with. When he got to the dorms all of his students were up. He was surprised since it was the weekend, but when he saw Mirio he figured he wanted to ask the class about Deku. Ever since Mirio realized Midoriya had adopted the same kid he let go, he had been beating himself over it. He has been trying to learn as much about Deku as possible. When everyone noticed Aizawa then Iri, they started to cheer. How did you manage to get her sensei? Did Midoriya put up a fight? Did you beat the shit out of him? Is Deku in jail? Is Iri okay? Questions started coming from all the students. No, I didn't save her, we have to babysit her, Aizawa said, still in disbelief that he is doing this. What? We can't give her back. Iri, I am so sorry I didn't, Mirio said, coming towards Iri, but she backed away from him. It's okay. Papa Deku says forgiving people. So I forgive you. After all, thanks to you, I have my papa now, Iri said happily. But you are safe now. We won't let you go back to him, Mirio said, trying to confront Iri. Why won't you let me go back to my papa? Iri asked. Everyone stared at her before they all spoke at once. He is a villain. He has hurt many people. He has betrayed us. He has ruined many lives. He is evil, everyone shouted at one. Stared at them dead in the face and said in the sweetest voice, I had been abused for my whole life and Papa Deku saved me from that life. He is my hero. Everyone shut up as they were slightly creeped out on how sweetly she said that. What the hell is wrong with this brat? Katsuki yelled at her. What's wrong, Kachan, insecure much? Iri responded. She giggled at his face and screamed, I am going to punch this child. Dajawa, why do you call Papa Deku problem child? Since I am his kid, does that make me a problem child? Iri asked. Aizawa looked at Iri. No, just because he says you are his kid doesn't mean you are his kid. He is a child himself. Plus I only called him that because he caused a lot of issues. Iri made a that sounds like a challenge I'm going to do. So Iri, why did Deku choose us as your babysitter? I mean, doesn't he have the league? Uraka asked. My uncles and auntie are fun but they can't be trusted to watch me. Well, Papa Deku doesn't trust them, Iri explained. Well, at least he is being responsible, even though he is a villain, Ida said. That's bold coming from the person that attempted murdered. Sorry, allegedly attempted murdered. Iri corrected herself. Ida stood there processing what the 6-year-old child just said to him. Where the hell did this kid all that sass from? Katsuki yelled. I don't know, the same place where you got all your angry issues and insecurities, Iri replied. Katsuki tried to grab her but she pulled out a knife and cut his arm instead. She ran to the other side of the room to prevent any of the heroes from catching her. Where did she get the knife? Bakubro, are you okay? Kirishima said while checking on Katsuki. It was say. That was the right word, I think, Iri said. Who gave you the knife? Auntie Toga. Papa has been teaching me, he said, needed to learn to take someone's knee caps. Did I do it? Everyone stared at the child and realized this was the daughter of Izuku Midoriya. Can you give me the knife please? Mirio asked, approaching her. No. It's mine, Auntie Toga gave it to me, Iri said, holding the knife closer to her face. Everyone was tense now, because they knew Deku would burn the city to the ground if Iri got hurt on their watch. Iri noticed this and thought this was the perfect time to earn her name problem child. She did the only logical thing, which was screaming like a banshee and running out of the dorms. Everyone froze for a minute, then realizing how fucked they were, they all ran after Iri. To say Iri had been stressing everyone out in Class 1A was putting it lightly. She had managed to cause so much property damage, got many other students injured because she was armed, and also had been terrorizing the other teachers. None of them were able to catch her, she always managed to escape from them. To say Iri was a little gremlin that drove them crazy, well, that's exactly what happened. She went back to the dorm rooms, destroying all the students' rooms. She did a number on Katsuki's room. However, those that were friends with her dad well faced less damage. The only person that really didn't have that much damage was Todoroki. It was Moros Iri took all over the walls, fuck Endeavor all over the walls, which Todoroki really didn't mind. The class had only caught Iri because she fell asleep on the couch. She is menace to this world, Mineta said after they found her. How was she that fast? Ida asked. I don't have a clue, but we found her finally, Uraka said. Well, we can keep her here, Mirio said. Hey guy, Deku said as he jumped from the window. Everyone jumped up when they saw Deku. I am here to pick my kid. Stop me, I will bomb half the city. Anyways, how was my princess? Deku asked. She was menace to all of us, Aizawa said. Aw. How cute, Deku said as he picked her up. She is more of a problem child than you are, Aizawa said. I am so proud of her. Well, bye-bye, Deku said as he left through the front door. You can stop pretending now, he said. Did I do a good job? She asked. You did wonderful. I am so proud of you. My princess is also a problem child. You will get candy apple when we get home. Deku said. Yay, Iri said, as Iri told her dad what kind of trouble she caused for class 1A. Deku listened proudly. Izuku looked at Iri. He knew he had to tell her about Iri. Even if she didn't understand, Izuku knew his mom would have liked to know that she had a granddaughter. As he was brushing Iri's hair, he thought of his mother more and more. He missed her, he missed how caring she was, missed when she sang him to sleep, and missed when she actually loved him. He remembered that day, the fear and hatred she had of him. He knew she didn't mean to hurt him. She said sorry when she realized what she had tried to do. Inko was a wonderful mother. She never would have laid her hands on her son, if it wasn't because of him. You okay, Papa Deku? Iri asked. Izuku snapped out of it. He made up his mind. We are going out, Izuku said as he picked up Iri. Shall I teleport you both to wherever you may be going? Kurogiri asked. That won't be needed, Kurogiri. Say bye, sweetie, Izuku said, looking at Iri. She waved and said, good, bye. Have apple juice ready for me, please. Izuku laughed as they left. Everyone waved goodbye to them and Izuku made his way to the hospital. She was actually close to the hospital where Todoroki's mom is. When they got to the hospital, Izuku had to pick the lock on the window before he could get in. Iri held onto her dad. She liked to hold onto him. She felt so safe with her dad. Why are we here, Papa Deku? Iri asked. We are meeting Grandma, he said. Ma? So you know how you are my daughter. Well, I have a mama and papa too. Since she's my mama and you are my kid, you are a grandkid. So she is your grandma, he explained. Is she nice? Yes, just know she isn't really. Sometimes, she doesn't understand everything around her sometimes. Izuku didn't know how to explain to Iri that his mother was basically crazy. I don't understand. Well, you can see, hear, and know that I am here, right? Yes, for her sometimes she can't do that. Sometimes she doesn't see, hear, or know that I am there. Iri felt sad seeing her dad look so sad. She is wonderful though. She will cook, play, give you snacks, and even sing for you. She can be a good mom, he said, a little distracted. I hope she can see me then, Iri said, excited now. Izuku smiled as he finally got the window opened. When he entered the room, it was a small simple room. There were photos of him when he was younger and his mom, some flowers, and some average furniture. Iri looked at the photos. When were you that small? We all were that small and grew up. So I will be a big girl one day? Yup, we shouldn't worry about that. We came here to meet Grandma, remember? Iri got excited again. Izu? Are you back from school? Inko asked when she entered the room. Inko woke up hearing the noise, thinking her son had come home from school. Hi Mom, sorry it has been a while, Izuku said as he hugged his mom. She hugged him back. You have gotten taller, and bigger, she pointed out. Izuku wondered how old she thought he was. Mom, I want you to introduce you to someone. Mom, this is Iri, my daughter, your granddaughter, he said, holding Iri's hand. He brought her closer to his mother. Aren't you too young to have a daughter? Inko asked, clearly confused. She is an adopted mom, but I love her as any father would, he said. Inko started to cry as she looked at her son. He was too young, but as far as he was concerned, this was his kid. So that means she was a grandma. Hello sweetie, I am Grandma. I am so happy to meet you, Inko said as she offered a hug to Iri. She looked at her dad, which he gave her she is safe nod. Iri let go of her dad's hand and hugged her grandma. Inko processed the hug but hugged her back. She reminded me of how Izu would hug her. She brushed her hands through her hair. It was soft like Izu's hair. Hi Grandma, am I doing this right? She asked. Yes, perfectly. Oh, I need to make dinner. You must be hungry. How old are you? What do you like to watch? Do you have a favorite hero? I need to know everything so I can start buying for your birthday, Christmas, and for every time you come by to visit, Inko said excitedly as she picked up Iri. Iri was thrilled to see her grandma accept her. I already have a food, Mom. We can eat together, Izuku said as pulled out the food he stuffed in the bag. We can eat like a family. For tonight, just tonight, he said. I will set up the table, Izuku said as he grabbed some plates and set them up on a nearby table. Iri was busy answering all of the questions Inko kept asking. Iri was also asking questions and Inko joyfully answered. They sat down, ate together, laughed together, and were just a family. Izuku smiled and was happy to see his family together. He had to give this up when he chose to be a villain. After all, his mother was only here because of him. He wished she didn't get involved in his mess. Are you ready to prove yourself to me? Izuku stared at his daughter and mother. Can they risk them getting hurt? Was it worth it? Yes, it was. He wanted to watch this society be torn apart. Yet he wondered if they would get hurt in the process. Will they? His mother was already hurt. Will Iri be next? No, that won't happen. If things ever go south, he can always give Iri to Aizawa. As much as he hated heroes, he knew Aizawa was one of the few that was a true hero. Still that day. You are exactly like him, obsessed with quirks. I can't stand it. You will be exactly like him. The day was getting late. Izuku had already cleaned up everything, making sure there was no one sign that anyone was here. Remember, Mom, whenever you talk about me, just call me Izuku friend, and the same goes for Iri, Izuku said. He wondered if she would remember, but she seemed to be aware since she had been in this room for years. Okay. Goodbye, my little princess. Come back and visit as soon as you can. Inko said. She kissed Iri on the forehead. I will, Grandma. Love you, Iri said as she kissed her on the cheek and hugged one last time. Bye, Mom. I love you, Izuku said as he hugged her. She hugged him back and whispered, I'm sorry, Izuku. It's okay, Mom. I should be the one telling you sorry. They only shattered your mind because of me. I really am sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't save you. Izuku and Iri made it back peacefully. They were all greeted by the League. Kurogiri gave Iri her apple juice. She drank it happily while rambling about how amazing her dad was and how she wanted to learn about his quirk. He loved seeing how she loves to learn about quirk. Wow, Deku, she is a literal mini you. Dabi commented. Thanks. Come on, Iri, time for bed, Izuku said as he picked up Iri. Night, everyone. Good night. Izuku watched Iri wave goodbye as they left, and Izuku started humming. He remembered the song his mother used to sing to him so he could sleep. It was a short, simple song, but he loved it. The sun is going down, the moon is coming up. It's time to let your dreams become a reality. So shut your eyes, let the night confront you. Let my melody lead you to your dreams. Izuku sang in a soft whisper, exactly how his mother did it. He sang with sweetness in his voice, a voice that wanted nothing in the world for his daughter. Iri found his voice soothing, so he was easy to listen to. She fell asleep right away listening to her dad's voice. Todoroki and Aizawa were at the mental hospital that Midoriya Inko stayed at. Aizawa was going to go by himself, but when he saw Todoroki making his way to this hospital, they agreed to continue their travels together. Have you met her before? Aizawa asked. Yes, I have. From what I know, Midoriya Inko tried to attack her son. When the police got to the house, they noticed she didn't seem to be in the proper mental state at all. She kept muttering and mumbling to herself, but no one knew what she was talking about. Her mental state is really concerning. She simply had lost her mind. She seemingly relives past moments, hallucinates her son being there when he isn't, and just can't seem to understand reality around her. Doctors have tried everything, but nothing seems to work. Aizawa processed this. He knew Midoriya had a rough life, but this was a lot for anyone. My God, how old was he when this all happened? Aizawa asked. He was 13, around the same time he joined the League from what we know, Todoroki explained. Aizawa felt bad for this woman. She was completely unaware of her reality and didn't know her son was a villain. You have to play along with whatever reality she has created. Trying to debunk her is impossible, Todoroki explained. Got it, Aizawa said. When they got to her room, a nurse let them in. Good morning, Mrs. Midoriya. You have guest, the nurse said. Oh, good morning. Have you seen Izuku? He is going to be late for school, Inko said as she was cleaning up around the room. I am his teacher. Aizawa figured it wasn't a lie. He was his teacher and needed to know as much about Izuku, more so with kids, so he won't go crazy with worry. Is he in trouble? I love him, but sometimes he get himself into trouble, Inko said while laughing a little. No, I just wanted to see you. You see, I hope you don't mind I ask some questions, Aizawa said. Sure, what is it? You see, your son will be watching some children for an assignment. Just want to know if he is good with kids. Oh, he is very protective with kids and he would never hurt them. He would have been a good brother if I had another kid. This helped with Aizawa. I hope Izuku comes soon. He will be late to class. Although I love the flowers he left me, Inko said. Aizawa looked at the table and saw flowers in a vase with a note on it. It only said one thing about it. I am sorry. Izuku had trouble getting proper treatment. He always had a hard time having a normal sleeping schedule. When he became a villain his sleep schedule got worse, but he tried to manage. When he adopted Iri he was aware that she had a lot of trauma and so she might get night terrors. She did suffer through a lot of nightmares and Izuku was more than willing to help her. However, what he wasn't expecting was for him to stay up all night confronting Iri, then throughout the rest of day do some of Krusty Lip's to-do list, and not sleep again because the rest of League thought it would be funny to throw a party. So to say Izuku was tired was putting it lightly. So in the morning Izuku was exhausted. He didn't have the energy to do anything today. Morning Deku. Wow, you look troubled, Toga said as she walked in the room. Iri was sitting on her dad's lap worried about him. Fuck you too Toga, Izuku said. Hey come on now. Not in front of the kid. Plus it is way too early in the morning for this. Twice said. Papa Deku hasn't slept well. I'm really sorry, Iri said guiltily. Why are you sorry sweetie? Toga asked. I had a lot of bad dreams. Papa Deku helped me, Iri explained. Don't be sorry sweetie. I am more than happy to help. I am just really bad at getting some sleep, Izuku said as he hugged Iri. Iri still felt bad but Toga saw an opportunity. Kurogiri said, here is breakfast, Iri. I think it would be wise for you to get some rest Izuku. I can keep an eye on Iri if you would like, Kurogiri offered. Thanks Giri but I can handle it, I think, Izuku said as he helped Iri with eating. Toga whispered her plan to Twice and he too liked the idea. You should eat Deku. I bet you are hungry, Toga said. Izuku looked confused. A little but I am fine. Come on Papa Deku. You need to eat. Iri instead. It took some convincing but Izuku relented. He ate a small snack so everyone got off his back. Great, now let's watch a movie, Toga said. No we don't have anything family friend movies, Izuku said. Now we do, Twice said as he suddenly with the whole Disney collection. Where did you? Before Izuku could finish, Iri jumped up in excitement. Iri wants to watch them so let's go, Toga said as she dragged Izuku on one hand and carried Iri on the other hand. It took longer than Toga planned. However she did it. She manages to get Izuku to fall asleep. She had a simple plan but it worked. Step 1. Get Izuku to be comfortable as possible, meaning he had to eat so he wouldn't need to eat later. Step 2. Make sure Iri was happy so he wouldn't have to worry about. And step 3. Make sure he is wrapped in a blanket so he can fall asleep faster. Getting him to fall asleep took longer but luckily the couch was comfortable and Izuku fell asleep. Iri made sure he did which helped out a lot. Once he was asleep they very carefully left Izuku. I can't believe we pulled it off, Twice said, amazed they actually did it. Yes we did. Now we can have this cutie all to ourselves for about a few hours. Toga as she hugged Iri closer to her. Iri hugged her auntie. She knew the league was a lot to handle but she loved them. What did you two do? Kurogiri asked, seeing that Izuku wasn't with them. We are going to spend some time with her while Izuku is asleep. He is actually asleep, we didn't kill him, Toga said reassuringly. Let's go beat up Kacchan. Iri said. Twice laughed while Toga debated on it. Tempting but no. I would train you how to use a knife but your dad has that covered, Toga said. Why can't we beat up Kacchan? Iri asked. Because your dad wants to do that and he will beat us up for beating him to it, Toga explained. You can get Uraka's blood if we beat him up. Iri pleaded. Toga was considering this. Twice looked at Toga like she was crazy. Spoiler alert, she is. Toga no. Twice pleaded. How can you pull that off? Toga asked. Toga please be smart, Twice said helplessly. I can be used as bait so you can get close to her and take advantage of me being a child. Worst case of senior I will stab her and you can take as much blood as you can, Iri explained. I love this kid, Toga said. Toga no, Twice said. Toga yes, Toga said as she prepared to beat up Bakugo Katsuki. Twice was preparing to help Toga. Giri can you please, Toga was about to ask before she got cut off. You have 30 minutes before I regret this, he said as he opened a portal for them. Iri was excited for this plan. When Izuku wakes up noticing a few things. 1. He felt like he slept for hours. 2. He was wrapped in a weirdly soft blanket. 3. He remembered he was watching movies with Toga, Twice, and Iri and they were all gone. Izuku jumped up, realizing that Toga and Twice were left alone with Iri. Izuku ran out and went looking for them. When he saw Iri covered in blood while eating a candy apple. He thought it was super cute and creepy at the same time. What happened? How long have I been asleep? Izuku said as he ran over to Iri trying to clean her up. Toga was also covered in blood. We tried to beat up that explosion kid while also getting some of Uraka's blood, but things went south. She isn't hurt, but if it wasn't for her we wouldn't have ended up in jail, Toga explained. Your kid is a mastermind genius. She used her size to her advantage to avoid capture while messing with the heroes. Your kid is so awesome, Twice said. Iri slightly blushing out of embarrassment. Really? Izuku was generally curious to hear everything. Why yeah Papa Deku, sorry I really wanted to beat up Kacchan. She admitted. I am so proud of you. You managed to get out of the situation all by yourself. When you finish with your candy apple I will give you a nice bath, Izuku said. Iri smiled happily to make her dad proud of her. Iri had finished her candy apple and went to take a bath. Izuku gave Kurogiri the dirty clothes to wash them. When Iri finished with her bath she went to play with her Auntie Toga and Uncle Twice. Izuku watched them and looked at Kurogiri. If I ever fall asleep, wake up next time, he said. Kurogiri sighed and said, I will keep that in mind for next time. You are doing very well on raising Iri, sir. Thank you Kurogiri, I learned from the best, he said as he smiled at Kurogiri. He was flustered but he knew how Izuku saw him. After he did save his life. Drawings of Izuku and Iri in this world. I will also explain some details about their design. Alright, so Izuku's quirk is telekinesis, basically his mother's quirk but stronger. However, it may be stronger but his quirk really weakens him a lot. When he uses his quirk his arms get really sore and he faces a really bad migraine. He normally doesn't feel the effect right away, it normally takes a few minutes for everything to start take effect. He wears support gear to help out. He has the habit of bring daggers or knives with him. He carries a lot of them and tends to switch them out. Alright, let's explain what's on his back. That is a shield. It does this thing where switches, basically it's a shield that's small enough to wear on his back but it switches where it can be bigger. The shield is very lightweight, can take bullet attacks, and is big enough to carry Iri. His boots are actually magnetic so he does use the shield like a surfboard. Now for the thing on his hips, they are basically grappling hooks. They were inspired by gear in Attack on Titans. I will like a video to be more specific. They work with Izuku's quirk. His gloves are connected to the grappling hooks. How to activate it is pretty simple as, he needs to stretch out his hand which will cause the hook launch itself. Izuku guides the hook so it can attach itself, and finally he needs to pull his hand back in order to go flying through the air. He became really skilled with his reflexes thanks to this gear. If you want to know where Izuku got these scars, easy, Shigaraki, Stain, and All for One. Iri was a very simple. Her outfit stays the same in the show. However, she likes to copy her dad and she likes to wear one similar to him to his custom, more so the color scheme. She also wears a disguise as well. Since the whole incident with Class 1A she wears a disguise now whenever she goes out with her dad. It's basically Deku's hero custom but in kid's size, and no, Izuku did not use that design when he was in UA. I hope you guys likes these design. Sorry if Iri looks weird, I suck at drawing children. Here is a close-up of Dad Izuku holding his princess. Summary, they're questions that the characters will answer them. Kui 111, Izuku, can Iri get a villain costume? Izuku, yes, if she wants one. Right now she really isn't inserted. I won't force anything on her. She actually wants to be a hero, which is ironic, but I support her in whatever she wants. 3v3_coin. How did Deku become a villain?
Izuku, well, it happened all so fast. I jumped off a roof when I was 13, Kurogiri found me, helped me, and I didn't join them right away.
It happened when my mom changed. I was 13 to 14 at the time. Next question. 3v3_coin. Is Mr. Compress there? Is Spinner there? Mr. Compress, we are still here. We have been dealing with the Yakuza. Spinner, this is why Kurogiri is so busy lately. He has been tracking all members and we have been dealing with most of the members. Shigaraki helps us once in a while too. 3v3_coin. When did Izuku betray 1A? Aizawa, we discovered he was the UA traitor a few months before the end of the year. We had some leaks informing us that there was a traitor and problem child's behavior had changed. We caught him with the plans to kidnap Bakugo. We were able to prevent that from ever happening but failed to capture him. Me. Alright, those are all the questions you guys left. Now on to questions I have for them. _me, Iri, how is it like living with League? Iri, I'll love them. They are my family. I love my Papa Deku the most. I love my family. Izuku along with the rest of the league, yes even Shigaraki, are crying tears of joy. Me, Toga, how does it feel to be an auntie? Also, what's your relationship with Uraka? Toga, I love being an auntie. Iri is such a cutie. She loves knives as much as I do. I love teaching her about them. Me and Uraka, I am madly in love with her. I keep confessing my feelings to her but she hasn't told me anything. What am I doing wrong? Izuku, Toga leaving a dead bird on her window isn't a confession. Toga, it isn't? Me, Shigaraki, do you really hate Iri? Shigaraki crusty lips, no, I don't hate her. She reminds me of the brat but she isn't that bad. She is good at making the heroes lives miserable so that's likable I guess. Did I do it right? Kurogiri, yes you did. Izuku, did you just admit that my daughter is useful? Crusty lips, shut up brat. Me, Bakugo, how do you feel about Izuku being a villain? Bakugo, I fucking hate it. I know I treated him like shit and I fucked up. I wish I could change that. Maybe even help him if I can. Kirishima, Bakubro. Bakugo, shut it shitty hair. Me, Kirishima, what's your relationship like with Bakugo? I think you two are pretty close. Kirishima, what? Blushing like a made man. Bakugo, what the hell does that mean you little fucker? Me, let's get to the next question before I die. Bakugo, get your ass over here. I am screaming and running for the hills while Kirishima is trying to hold a blushing Bakugo back. Me, alright I am okay with the next questions. Iri, what are your opinions of the Todoroki family? Iri, I think they are amazing. Me, including Endeavor? Iri, what kind of question is that? No fucking way. Dabi, I love this kid. Shoto, I like her as well. Izuku, that's my girl. Endeavor, what did I do? Iri, do you really want me to explain every horrible thing you did to your kids and wife? Dabi losing it along with it. Izuku, Shoto, can I have her? Izuku, marry me then we can share. Shoto, that doesn't bother me. It can be arranged. Izuku, great exclamation mark. Wait, what? Shoto, what? Me, Shoto, you seem to know a lot about Izuku. What was your relationship like when you two were at school? Shoto, we were very close when we were in school. Slightly blushing. Izuku, I am madly in love with him and he is oblivious to all emotions including my own and his own emotions. Shoto, what do you mean? Iri face palms and Izuku disappointed sighs. Me, serious question, Izuku, what happened to your mom? Something about her condition just doesn't feel right. Izuku, do I have to answer? Me, yes. Izuku, just know she isn't well and that it was my fault. Me, wow, super vague. Izuku, that's an answer isn't it? Me, fair enough. Me, who was watching you when your mom went to the mental hospital? Izuku, the league helped cover for that. Other than that I have been living with the league since. Me, alright, last personal question. Where is your dad? I am sure he must be aware of what happened to your mom after all, that is his wife. Where is he? Is he still overseas? Izuku, wow, we are going real personal aren't we? Sure, let's go with that. He is overseas. Yeah, let's go with that. Me, damn, why are you so vague? Izuku, you are asking a bunch of personal questions. Like hell I will be answering. Me, fair I guess. Me, Inko, are you okay? Inko, of course I am. Izuku isn't. Take my baby away from that monster. Me, huh? Who's the monster? Inko, what are you talking about? I need to make dinner. Izuku will be coming home from school soon. Izuku, alright, next person and something lighthearted please. Me, Kurogiri, how do you like Iri? Kurogiri, I love her very much. She is such a sweet girl. Me, Twice, are you a good uncle? Twice, I think I am. Iri enjoys my clones and thinks I am cool, so that's awesome. Me, Dabi, how have you been handling Iri? Dabi, I'm not good with kids but I like Iri. She is literally crazy as we are. She suggested the other day we go vandalize Endeavor's home. I am down for that. She's not bad. Izuku, if you are planning this with my kid, I have to come so I can join the fun. Dabi, deal. Me, Mr. Compress, what are your thoughts on Iri? Mr. Compress, I like her. She's smart and would make a great villain. However, from what I know she doesn't want to be, which is fine. Midoriya is raising her and I have faith in him. Plus it's her life. I, along with the league, will support her in whatever she wants. Me, Spinner, same question to you. What are your thoughts on ɪ̈rɪ? Spinner, well, she is being raised by Stain's apprentice. I have full faith in him. She knows how to defend herself and I hope she learns more of the corrupted society we live in. I know she wants to be a hero. Maybe she will be a worthy hero. If she being raised by Midoriya, then she will be. Me, so Izuku, Shigaraki, you two don't seem to like each other. Like at all. What's the reason behind it? Izuku, put it simply. Crusty lips, it's complicated. Me, is All for One still there? Kurogiri, yes. Me, Izuku, how was training with Stain? Izuku, it was brutal but worth it. Me, those scars look really bad. Izuku, was training that bad? Izuku, yes it was. Me, ɪ̈rɪ, why do you call your dad Papa Deku? Why not just Papa? ɪ̈rɪ, because Deku is a hero and my papa is a hero. Izuku, when ɪ̈rɪ was sick I told her stories of a hero named Deku and one thing led to another. She now associates heroes with the name Deku. Not all heroes but some. Me, ɪ̈rɪ, do you like your dad's singing? ɪ̈rɪ, yes, it's the most amazing singing I have ever heard. Me, ɪ̈rɪ, why is Ezrehead your favorite? ɪ̈rɪ, B, because he believed in my papa Deku. L, like Todoroki, and Ida, and Uraka, and Tsu. Me, alright, we are about to end this Q&A. Have the Hawks met ɪ̈rɪ? Izuku, no, I am not looking forward to it. Me, Hawks, are you looking forward to meeting ɪ̈rɪ? Hawks, I actually really am. From what I heard he sounds wonderful. Can't wait to meet her. Me, ɪ̈rɪ, are you looking forward to meeting Hawks? ɪ̈rɪ, yes, I am. I hope he is really nice. Me, final question, Izuku, are you looking forward to ɪ̈rɪ and Hawks meeting? Izuku, no I am not and I am expecting blood to happen. Dabi, I'm fucking excited. Toga, yes twice and I have the popcorn ready. Twice, do you want salt or butter? Shigaraki, better save some for me. Mr. Compress, I won't even be missing it. Spinner, I won't lie, I am excited to see the girl's skill. Izuku, Giri, get extra bandages please. A glass of wine for me. Kurogiri, I will get extra bandages, however the wine will not happen as you are still a minor. Izuku, great, I have to be sober when I deal with them. Me, alright, that's enough questions for everyone. Thanks again for everything. ɪ̈rɪ hadn't met Hawks but heard a lot about him. She didn't like him. Now you may be wondering why she doesn't like him? Was Hawks bad with kids? Well yes, that wasn't the main reason why. She thought he was okay until she learned that he liked Endeavor. After that she made a vow to stab him at least once. Dabi was looking forward to it. He was teaching how to catch Hawks off guard and where to stab him. Toga and Twice had a bet on how long would ɪ̈rɪ last before stabbing Hawks. Shiggy really just wanted to watch the show. Kurogiri was not looking forward to clean up the mess, and Izuku was hating everything about it. Izuku had met Hawks and he found Hawks to be an annoying cocky bastard. That wasn't the problem. The problem was he was a fanboy for Endeavor. He hated that Hawks even liked Endeavor. Izuku knew when ɪ̈rɪ meets Hawks all hell was going to break loose. He knew he couldn't stop it if he even tried, so his bright plan was to not be sober while the two were meeting. No, I will not be doing that, Midoriya. Kurogiri argued. Please Giri, I cannot be sober when they meet. Izuku pleaded. I will not give a child wine, Midoriya. You are underage. Kurogiri reasoned. Giri, we are all mentally ill, have tortured, killed, and kidnapped a bunch of innocent people and you draw the line at underage drinking? Izuku said. The line needs to be drawn somewhere, Kurogiri shouted. I say let the boy have one drink. Sometimes we all need a drink to relax. Compress said. Don't encourage this, Kurogiri said, frightened. Please, just 1 cup of wine. Izuku pleaded. Why wine? Toga asked. It's not that bad. I have had wine before. Granted, it was Stain that gave me the drink. Izuku explained. What's wine? ɪ̈rɪ asked. She was playing a video game the whole time. Bitter soda. You won't like it, it's an adult drink. Izuku said. Papa Deku. You're 15, ɪ̈rɪ said. 16. Damn you eraser, you got my kid thinking I'm 15. Izuku said annoyingly. You won't like wine, trust me sweetie. Anyways, back to your Giri, just 1 cup of wine please. Pleaded Izuku. For the last time I said no. Kurogiri repeated himself. Oh my god, Izuku is a wine mom. Twice said, realizing this. Oh my, you are right. Toga shouted. Izuku groaned. I can barely handle those two sober. Please before Hawks get here. No, Kurogiri shouted once again. Now what's with all this shouting? Said the cocky bastard. Izuku groaned. It was too late. Hawks entered with that smug look on his face. Iri studied Hawks, wondering where she saw his face before. Dabi had been slightly watching the whole time. Now the real fun was about to begin. Shiggy had popcorn and was sharing it with Dabi. Toga was betting that it would be less than 5 minutes before Iri tried to stab Hawks. Twice was betting it would be at least 5 minutes before Iri tried to stab Hawks. Kurogiri poured a drink for Compress and Spinner since they have been doing a lot this week. What's up? I hear Zuzu here has adopted. Congrats. Hawks said. Don't call me that. Izuku pleaded a little. You are Hawks, right? Iri asked. Hawks smiled. The one and only. Beamed Hawks. Iri dropped the poor innocent girl act. Izuku knew the worst was coming. Spinner gave him his drink. Huh? Izuku was a little confused. You mentioned Stain allowed you to have a drink. I will allow the same. Plus I believe you will need it more than me. Spinner explained. Izuku gave a thank you nod. Kurogiri sighed in defeat. You must be Iri, isn't she a bit young to be in a bar? That's bad parenting for you, Zuzu. Hawks jokes. Izuku groaned and Iri took that personally. At least he doesn't physically or emotionally abuse me, unlike Endeavor, who has done that to all his kids, Iri said coolly. Dabi was trying so hard not to laugh. Shiggy had no problem laughing. Toga was cheering Iri on. So was Twice. Compress was trying to stay serious. Spinner just sighed. Kurogiri was tried. And Izuku took a huge gulp out his drink. Hawks were surprised by what Iri just said. I am sorry, what the fuck? Hawks said. You heard me, bird brain. Iri replied. I love this kid. Dabi stated. More wine please, Izuku said as the cup was almost empty. Fine, only this once. Kurogiri caved as he poured more wine into the cup. What did I do? Hawks asked. 1. Your face is ugly. 2. You like Endeavor. And 3. You insulted Papa Deku. Iri explained. Izuku, I will do anything to have Iri for a day. Dabi said. No, you two are going to vandalize something of Endeavor's and I want to be there when Iri commits her first crime, that she gets caught by the rest of the public. Izuku said. I will give you Shoto Todoroki hand in marriage where I can have the whole day with her. Danny pleaded. Izuku considered it tempting, but no. Come on kid, I was joking with your old one. Hawks explained. You still like Endeavor. Iri defended. What? All Might's better? Hawks asked. At least he is rated number 1 because he looks like a villain. Iri said. Now come on kid, Hawks defensively said. Iri got sick of it and without warning stabbed Hawks in the thigh. Damn it, I was aiming for the dick. Iri said, annoyed. Pay up Twice, Toga said as she had just won the bet. Right, here, Twice said, reaching for his wallet. Ow. What the hell, you demon child? Hawks yelled as he really didn't think this child wasn't capable of stabbing anyone. Iri was about to stab him again, but Hawks was ready. Izuku, now on his 3rd cup of wine, thanks to Spinner, decided now was a good time to stop them. His eyes glowed as he levitated Iri away from Hawks. He then levitated some knives to stop Hawks. His plan worked and he separated the two. Alright, I am a little tipsy, might get drunk by the end of the day. Worth it, I will not leave a big mess for Giri to clean up. Hawks, you are bleeding, go get that fix and Iri come watch some Disney movies with me, Izuku said. Hawks did the smart thing for once and left to treat his wounds. Izuku caught Iri and held her. He went to the couch along with Toga following. Dabi, is the offer there? Izuku asked. Yes it is, Dabi said. I will only take it if I join in, Izuku said. Deal, Dabi said. Great, come. Toga put on Frozen. Izuku said. Drugs are bad for you. Can we all agree on that? Drugs are not good for you. Don't take them. You should never take it. Got it? Good. So Toga and Twice came back to the league with a bunch of drugs they found. We are back with drugs, Twice said. This is a bad idea. No, it's a great idea. Twice argued with himself. Now why do I have drugs? Izuku asked. Can I have some? Iri asked. No sweetie, it's disgusting like broccoli, Izuku said. But you are like broccoli, Iri protested. Fucking crusty lips, I swear to God. Princess, continue watching Animal Planet, Izuku said, and Iri refocused on the tablet. Why the hell do you have drugs? Shigaraki got back to topic. Why not? Who wants one? Toga said, passing them out. Gladly, Hawks said excitedly. Why not? I am tired. Spinner said exhausted. Dabi grabbed some. Kurogiri and Mr. Compress were gone and the only person that was seemingly responsible was Izuku. He hated it. Come on guys please. Izuku pleaded. Nope, you can't change our minds. Anyways, do you want one? Toga said. No thanks, I am taking Iri out of here. We are going to learn more about the animals in? Izuku said, trying to see what she is learning. In a rainforest. Look at these pretty birds, Iri said, showing the tablet to her dad. Yes, they are pretty birds. Someone call me when this hell is over. Izuku said as left the bar. He wasn't going to be dealing with their shit. Izuku had to deal with their shit. When Izuku came back he was disappointed to see everyone there was still high. Izu is back, Toga shouted while taking another hit of God knows what. I can't be sober and deal with all of you guys like this. Where is the wine? Izuku asked as he went behind the bar. Since when did broccoli boys drink wine? Hawks asked. A while now. Shut it, bird brain. You are annoying to deal with when you are sober. Izuku said. Izuku grabbed some wine, poured a bunch for himself, and started drinking it. Papa Deku, I have a question. Iri asked. What is it, sweetie? Izuku asked as he took another sip of the wine. Maybe we can help too, Dabi said while chuckling. Since Hawks and to talk, he has a bird head, Iri explains. Tokoyami sweetie, Izuku corrected him, since they have bird-like quirks, if they had a baby would their partner give birth to a baby or lay an egg? Iri asked. There was silence in the room and Izuku started laughing as he refilled his drink. That's enough Animal Planet for you sweetie, Izuku said. Great question. Wait, what will happen? Hawks asked. That is a good question, what would it be? Shigaraki asked. This turned into an hour-long debate. It was hard to tell what would happen with the question and no one wanted to agree. I have another question, Iri asked. Yes sweetie? Izuku was very drunk. If time travel is real, could my older self tell my younger self a secret I didn't know? She asked innocently. This blows everyone's minds. Yes sweetie, why? Twice asked, now believing in time travel. No reason. I gotta go to bed. Good night, she said while leaving all the stoned/drunk people to lose their goddamn minds. Did she do that on purpose? Yes she did. Iri knew she should have called Kurogiri sooner, but she loves watching everyone lose their minds. She did call him so he can deal with everything. Let's just say Iri enjoyed watching every single one of them get scolded by him. It was better than anything Animal Planet could offer. We are back, Izuku said as he came through the patrol. He carried his daughter in his hands. The look of pure excitement was written all over Izuku and Iri. I will get started making some popcorn and? Kurogiri said. Coffee for me and apple juice for the princess. Hawks looked at them very confused. We should explain this since he has never been here, Toga stated. Wait for Master Shigaraki, he will be upset if he misses anything, Kurogiri said. Crusty lips. Iri got tea. Get your ass over here or else you will miss everything. Izuku shouted. Alright, someone explain something to me, I am really lost, Hawks said. Well, you know how Iri goes to class 1A since Izuku doesn't trust us to watch her? Toga explained. Hawks nodded. So Iri hears all the gossip in 1A and causes some of it. Toga giggled. Wait, really? You caused some trouble for them? Hawks asked. I will confirm nothing, Iri said. You brats better not have started without me, Shigaraki said as he ran into the room. Relax, we haven't started, Izuku said. I will be getting more snacks ready, Kurogiri said. Thanks Grandpa Giri, Iri said. Kurogiri blushed as he gave her apple juice and Izuku coffee. Right, so what happened? Izuku asked as he grabbed his coffee. Alright, so Kiri is mad at Kachan, Iri said. Toga shakes her head disapprovingly, twice chuckled. What did he do this time? Izuku said, annoyed at his old childhood friend. Okay, so he found out how he treated you in middle school. Like he knows the details, Iri said. How did he find out? Twice nervously before saying, oh I bet he was furious. He was yelling at him and hasn't spoken to him for the whole time I was there, Iri said. How did he find out the details? I know I only told one person and he said he would never say anything to anyone, Izuku said while looking at Iri suspiciously. She gave her famous evil grin. Hawks looked very impressed on how much chaos Iri was able to cause. However, he really shouldn't be surprised since she is Izuku's daughter. Was this fight worse than the last fight? Shigaraki asked. Not really, but last fight was nothing compared to the kitchen fight, Iri said. Kitchen fight? Hawks asked. Oh, that was one of Kirishima's and Bakugo's worst fight, Shigaraki explained. Wait, what? I want to know about that fight. Hawks whined. I will fill you in later. Now how was Bakugo handling this? Toga asked. He didn't deny or justify it, he actually let him yell at him but only yelled back when Kirishima was getting aggressive. I saw Shinso again, Iri said. Wait, was he sneaking in or out? Izuku asked. I saw him sneak in and out, Iri teased. Princess, did you see who he was going to see? Izuku wanted to know who Shinso had been seeing. He didn't give me any candy today. Sorry Shinso. It was Denki, Iri said. I knew it. What did I say? Izuku said, pointing at Dabi. Yeah, here is your money, Dabi said. Oh, also, Uraka was thinking about you, Annie Toga, Iri said. Oh really? What did she say? Toga asked. She admitted that she thought about you. She teased. Oh, stop teasing me and please tell me. Toga begged. Iri smiled and finally said, she admitted you are cute. Oh my god. Toga squealed and jumped up in excitement. I told you, you're her type, Izuku said smugly. Iri didn't like the attitude her dad was going for, so she decided to mess with him. Mineta is bisexual and he is in love with you, Papa Deku. Are you kidding me? Izuku yelled. Hawks, Shigaraki, and Dabi lost it. Iri was satisfied to bring her dad's ego down. She loved her dad to death, but sometimes he needed an ego check. Todoroki Shoto mentioned you, Iri teased. Everyone was losing it, even Hawks. What did he say? How is he? Izuku asked. Desperate much? Hawks stated. He misses you, Iri said. Now it was Izuku's turn to lose it. Oh my, the tea is amazing. Twice said, I wonder if something else happened. Aizawa and Yamada may or may not have gotten into a fight because somebody may or may not have changed their dinner date last minute, Iri said. Okay, now how did you pull that off? Shigaraki asked. She may or may not ask me how to hack into someone's phone, Izuku said. Oh my god, please tell me how bad it was. Toga pleaded. Hisashi is breaking all the glasses and Grandpa Zawa doesn't have enough coffee, Iri explained. Everyone was losing it. Even Spinner was paying attention, Mr. Compress was getting a heavy drink, and Kurogiri was done with everything. To say Iri lives for the drama was an understatement. Iri loves her dad more than anything in the world, but he can be stubborn. She didn't understand why he was stubborn, but he just was. It can get really annoying really quickly. Iri learned this when visiting her grandma. Grandma was a strange woman. She would keep calling Iri Izu instead of her name. Iri tried correcting her. She would listen sometimes but not all the time. She would sometimes forget Iri was even there. Even forgetting her dad was there too. Even though her grandma was strange, Iri still loved her. She loves talking to her grandma. Well, Izu, I am happy you are making friends. Her grandma said after Iri told her about Class 1A. I'm Iri, Grandma. Anyways, Todoroki was talking about Papa Deku and Iri began, but Grandma cut her off. Yes, Papa will be home soon, Izu. He brought you many gifts, Grandma said excitedly. Iri looked confused and Grandma laughed at her. I know it's been a while since you last saw him, but Dad is coming home, Izu. Now get dressed for Papa, okay? Grandma said. Iri nodded and went to the kitchen. Papa Deku. Yes, sweetie? Did you have a papa? Iri asked. Her dad froze at the question before saying, of course I do. Everyone has a mama and papa. Where is he? Iri asked. She watched her dad think of something to say to her. He is around, just busy with work, he finally said. Why doesn't he come visit Grandma? Does that make him my grandpa? Does he have to be my grandpa? Can I get a different grandpa? Iri asked. Her father chuckled at the line of questions. He picked her before he answered. He is busy. Yes, he would be your grandpa. If you don't want him to be your grandpa, you don't have to accept him. And as long as they treat you well, I don't see why you don't want a different grandpa, Izuku answered. Iri felt a little better, but she felt like there was more than her dad didn't want to see or wouldn't say anymore. This annoyed Iri. She kept asking more and more questions, but her dad gave her vague answers. She wasn't going to get any answers from Grandma either. She needed outside help. The league was useless, Iri thought frustratingly. They knew nothing. All they knew was that her grandpa's Papa Deku's dad's name was Hisashi Midoriya. That was it. Papa Deku seemed to never talk about his dad and didn't even like him. Iri really wanted to know more, but she wasn't getting any answers at all. Iri stormed into the bar trying on the high stall chair, but no one was there to help her, or at least that's what she thought. Do you need some assistance? ᴘᴅᴇᴜ asked. Iri looked at him and nodded. Iri loved ᴘᴅᴇᴜ, he gave candy, juice, food, and treated her with much care. Papa Deku loves him too, he is kinda like a dad to me. Iri remembers when her dad said that. She was asking what his thoughts were on League, and her dad saw ᴘᴅᴇᴜ like a dad. Did that make him her grandpa? ᴘᴅᴇᴜ helped Iri onto the chair. Want something to eat? It's far too early for dinner. What should I make for you? He asked.
I want some apple juice, and can I have some chips for now, please?
Iri said. ᴘᴅᴇᴜ nodded and grabbed a cup for Iri. Can I ask you some questions about Papa Deku? Iri asked. Of course you can. What would you like to know about your father? ᴘᴅᴇᴜ said. Why doesn't he like Hisashi? Iri asked. How do you know about him? ᴘᴅᴇᴜ asked. I asked everyone in the league. Auntie Toga told me his name, Uncle twice said he doesn't like him at all, then said he shouldn't have told me, and Shigaraki told me it wasn't my business. Do you know why he doesn't like him? Iri asked again. ᴘᴅᴇᴜ knew he shouldn't say anything. It's nobody's business but mine. Don't tell anyone about my father, got it? He sighed. Izuku was such an angry kid. Could you blame him? He was abused by people he thought were friends, neglected by a terrible society, and abandoned by the people that he needed the most, one by choice but the other was against her will. Izuku had every right to be angry, especially at his father. ᴘᴅᴇᴜ knew it wasn't his business, but it was true. He was angry at his dad and only tolerated him for his benefits. It was complicated to say the least. Sweetie, Hisashi has made some questionable decisions as a parent. He hurt your dad. He doesn't want to forgive. Not for now. He might change his mind, or maybe he won't. It's all up to him. ᴘᴅᴇᴜ said. That's the best he can say, plus Izuku doesn't even know what his father plans to do with him yet. He felt guilty for not telling him, but he couldn't get in the way. Can you be my grandpa? Iri asked. ᴘᴅᴇᴜ was surprised by the question. 1. He was expecting it, 2. He was really deep in thought, and 3. Did Iri really mean it? I have a grandma, but I also want a grandpa, so can you be my grandpa? Iri asked again. He was very touched by this, and how could he say no to her? I would love to be your grandpa, sweetie, he said. She beamed. Great. Can I have more than one grandpa? Iri asked. Yes, some people have two. Why do you ask? ᴘᴅᴇᴜ asked. No reason. Iri said. Aizawa wanted Aizawa to be her second father. Iri may love the league, but she also loves Class 1A. Sure, it was fun to mess with them and drive them crazy, but she did really love them. She loved everyone, yes, even Kachan, but she will never admit it. She enjoyed how different they were from the league. They may not like the league, but they, somewhat, respected that it was her family. She really did love them, especially Eraserhead. She loved him a lot. She knew her dad loved him and he always said he respected him. So when Iri started thinking about Hisashi and wondered where he was, she did go to ᴘᴅᴇᴜ for answers. He did answer them, however he wouldn't answer anymore. She was really annoyed, as all she wanted to know was where he was. Iri decided Aizawa was her next bet. So she was dropped off at UA and made her way to Aizawa. One problem, Aizawa wasn't there. Great, she was going to get his attention one way or another. Are you sure we can't talk to Aizawa? Iri pleaded. Sorry Iri, but he is busy. Uraka explained. You are making me do this, huh? Iri said. Do what? Uraka said, fearing for what was coming next. Looks like I have to blow up the building, Iri said as she went through her bag. Wait. Don't do that. I will get Aizawa, I promise, Uraka said. Iri smiled as Uraka quickly went to grab Aizawa. Iri lied though, she wasn't planning on blowing up the building. Her dad always made sure she didn't sneak any bombs into UA. However, the rest of 1A didn't know that, and Iri was going to keep it like that. Aizawa ran into the room, both worried and done with Iri. All right, I am here, Aizawa shouted as he burst through the doors. Iri smiled. Can we talk privately? Aizawa was confused, but he didn't see the harm in denying her. They left and went to his office. So what was so important that you had to threaten to blow up the school? Aizawa asked. It's about my dad, Iri said. What about him? Aizawa asked, genuinely curious as he did care, former student. What happened to Hisashi Midoriya? Whenever I bring him up, my dad won't answer me, and I really want answers, Iri said. I don't know. He just disappeared from his life. No one has seen in years. Aizawa said. That's it? Iri was frustrated. Did no one really have no answers? I know, I don't like it either, but that is all I have, Aizawa said. I just want answers, Iri complained. Me too, however sometimes we get answers and it can be really annoying, but that's what we have to deal with, Aizawa explained. Can you be my grandpa? Iri asked. What? Aizawa was caught off guard by the question. I don't know about my real grandpa, so I thought I would get another grandpa or two. My papa trusts, even though he is a villain, he still trusts you with me. So I trust you if he trusts you, Iri explained. Aizawa hated to admit it, but he felt touched by her. Izuku still trusted him. He wishes he could have done more to help him. Maybe he can help Iri instead. I would be more than happy to, Aizawa said. See, can you carry me? Iri asked. Aizawa laughed a little and picked up his granddaughter. This just felt right. I hear Iri has been asking about her grandfather. All for One said. Yeah, what about it? Izuku asked. What does she know? He asked innocently. This conversation was ticking Izuku off. She knows he works overseas, his name, and that I don't like him, he said. That is a lot more than I expected. All for One. Izuku rolled his eyes. Doesn't matter, Iri isn't going to meet him as long as I am alive. I want nothing to with that bastard. So drop it, Izuku warned. All for One laughed. It was a bone-chilling laugh. It creeped out Izuku, but he didn't show it. Such hatred for a man you haven't met, All for One commented. Izuku felt fear take over him. Well, that bastard hasn't been there for me, so can I leave now? Izuku asked. Yes, you can, he said, and Izuku made his way to leave. Oh, tell your daughter I said hi, All for One said. Fun fact about Iri, she doesn't have a lot of friends her age. Shocking, who would have thought? Being the daughter of the villain Deku and having the League of Villains as your family kinda limits your pool of friends. Not to mention her social skills kinda suck. She was either too shy or too chaotic. It's not like she didn't try making friends her own age. She did, she really did try. It just never worked out well. Iri was writing in her notebook and taking a lot of notes. Here was what she had so for. How to catch a friend. Find someone you think might like you. Talk to said person. Make friend. You'd think with this flawless plan she would have more friends, however that didn't seem to be the case. Iri was in a crappy disguise. She had a bad blue hair wig, wearing baggier clothes, and had a hat on to hide her horn. She took a deep breath and marched on the playground. There were other kids running around, playing, and just being kids. Iri approached one of the kids. Hi. Wanna play with me? The boy said. Yes, Iri said excitedly that everything was going well so far. Cool, what game do you want to play? He asked. Arson, Iri said excitedly. What's arson? He asked. We set buildings on fire. Iri explained. So how did it go, sweetie? Her dad asked as he picked her up. I failed again. She complained as they walked through the patrol. Aw, what happened? Her dad asked as he began to remove the ugly disguise. I don't understand what I am doing wrong, Iri said. Did you mention stabbing, murder, or kidnapping? He asked. Not just arson, Iri said. Arson is also a criminal offense, her dad said, and Iri groaned. Why is all the fun stuff that is illegal? Iri asked. Not a clue, you are acting like a little boy I used to know, her father said. Who? Iri asked. His name is Kota. I think you two would have been good friends, her papa said. Kota, Iri thought. Auntie Toga, I need your help, Iri said. Sure, what is it? She asked. I need your help to kidnap my soon-to-be friend, Iri said. Great, how soon? Toga said. Today. His name is Kota, Iri said. Good, does your dad know? Toga asked. Not yet, Iri confesses. Perfect, let's go, she said. Kota was a strange kid. He knew that and didn't care. People can see him, judge him all he wants, he didn't care. It started when he was considered a weird kid for not liking the hero. Then he was the weird kid for having a villain be his hero. The villain, Deku. He saved his life when the villain Muscular went to attack him since he killed his parents and wanted to finish the job. Kota remembers the day well. He was isolated from the campground. Deku was only there to hire Muscular. However, Deku no longer wanted Muscular to be a part of the league when seeing the attack. He fought off Muscular and had the heroes deal with him. From that day on, Kota saw Deku as his hero. He knew he was a villain and had no plans to be a villain. It was watching the fight, Seeing how determined Deku was in saving him made me think he was a hero. However, when he learned that he was a villain, he still looked up to him. He knew Deku was a hero and nothing was going to change that. So today was a normal day. He was just walking around until someone knocked him out. To be honest, Ḥoda didn't even release what happened. He only knew he was kidnapped when he woke up in a bar. What's going on? Ḥoda was in a bit of a panic state. Hello. It's nice to meet you. A light gray girl said. Who are you? Ḥoda demanded. I am ᴜᴇ. Are you Ḥoda? Iri asked. Why yes, ᴜᴇ, are you related to Deku? Ḥoda asked. Yes. I am his daughter. She said. When did he have a kid? Ḥoda said. I'm adopted. She clarified. Oh, why am I here? Ḥoda asked. Well, since Papa Deku saved you, I thought we could be friends since he also saved me. Iri explained. He saved you too? Ḥoda said. Yup. He is my hero, she said. You know he is a villain, right? He pointed out. Yes, I know, but he is my hero, she said. Really? He is my hero too, Ḥoda said. Really? Iri said. The two kids started playing with one another. Kurogiri watched his granddaughter, Iri. He was happy she finally got a friend. However, he wishes that she didn't kidnap him, especially since Izuku was gone. Oh boy, this is going to be fun to explain. Izuku came back from a long day of running errands. He was looking forward to having a glass of wine, hanging out with Iri, and watching some Disney movies. Greetings ᴜᴇ, how did everything go? Giri said. Long day, anyways, can I get a cup of wine? Izuku said. Giri sighed as he poured the wine. Where is Iri? Izuku asked as he took his glass. In the playroom with Toga. Giri answered. Izuku nodded and left the room. He entered the room and waved hello to Toga. Hey guys, Izuku said. Hey Izuku, Toga said. Hi Papa Deku, Iri said. Hi Deku. Ḥoda said. Hi Princess, hey Ḥoda, wait, Ḥoda? Izuku said, freaking out. Iri brought me here, Ḥoda said excitedly. What? Izuku shouted. I kidnap him. Iri clarified. Izuku returned Ḥoda home safely later that day. However, they did make a deal. Ḥoda would visit Iri for playdates only when he was there. They agreed and Iri had finally made her first friend. Iri sat there hoping this stupid disguise would be good enough to fool Aizawa. That's the best you came up with? Ḥoda asked as he came up to her desk. Shut up. You are going to make it oblivious. Iri scolded. The only person making it obvious is you. Ḥoda pointed out. She rolled her eyes, not in the mood to deal with him. You are a terrible liar for someone that has been raised by Ḥoda began, but Iri cut him off. Any louder? Iri scolded. Ḥoda laughs happily to see his friend outside of that dusty bar. What now? She asked. Happy to see outside of that dusty bar, he said. It's not dusty. She defended. Yes it is, he said. Grandpa Giri puts a lot of work in cleaning the bar. Not his fault crusty lips and burnt chicken nuggets never clean up after themselves, she stated. Ḥoda laughed. He knew Iri loved the league and they truly were her family. However, the way she always talked about them made it seem like she could care less for them. Enough talking, brats, her grandpa said. You'd think Aizawa would have retired by now, but Nizu was an evil rat god after all. Have fun, Ḥoda teased as he made his way to his seat. Now brats, congrats on making UA. Let's begin, her grandpa said. Iri was sweating bullets in her seat hoping he would be fooled by his crappy disguise. She highly doubted it. After one long day of not making direct eye contact with her grandpa, she was finally going home. Greetings sweetie, how was school? Giri asked as he opened a portal for her. It was great. Do you have my costume already? She asked. Yes, it came in today. Your father is excited to see you, he said. She groaned mentally preparing herself. She walked through and she immediately was tackled. Auntie. She wrestled her aunt trying to get out of her grasp. How was it? Your costume looks so cute, she said. Iri rolled her eyes. Iri. My baby. She heard her dad shouting across the room. He ran over to her. Her father was a giant compared to everyone else, but he was softy. He hugged his little girl even though she was no longer little. She was officially 15 and was going to be 16 soon. As for her father, he is 26 and unreasonable tall/muscular. Her father had retired from being a villain. He now was kinda like a computer hacker helping out many people. Basically a vigilante. Thanks to his retirement he was around a lot more in Iri's life. He was an amazing father to her and still is. He supported her in any dream she wanted, didn't oppose his views on her, and helped her get into UA with no one knowing who she really was. She hated how she had to lie, but she knew she wouldn't have gotten into UA due to her connection to the league. It would also ruin her reputation as well. She really wishes stuff like that didn't matter, but it did. She knew it mattered far too much. She remembers being terrified telling her dad she wanted to save people. She wants to be a hero. She thought he was going to be angry or disappointed in her for not joining the league. However, her dad supported her with everything. Never once did he shame her, guilt her, or try to persuade her. He just supported and even defended her decision to the league. "How was your first day?" he asked. "I was terrified of Grandpa. I never knew he could be so grumpy? Rude? Can it be a bit much?" Her dad finished. "Yes," she said, "he threatened to expel us if we didn't pass this test, and he still does that?" He asked for a little surprise. "You know?" she shouted. "I thought he would have stopped by now," he explained. She groaned as she buried herself in the couch. "What's wrong?" her dad asked, seeing how embarrassed she was. "Kota, he was being so unhelpful," she said. Izuku laughed a little. "Boys, they are a pain." "I know. They are, aren't they?" Iri said. "Hey, I want you to know this is going to be a long and difficult journey. I will be by your side the whole time. You know that, right?" he said. "Yeah, I know, Papa," she said. "Come on, let's get you something to eat," he said. Iri sat down and ate. "Well, if Kota comes giving you a hard time, you can always stab him," her aunt said. "Auntie, stabbing people isn't heroic," Iri pointed out. "Well, you're no fun," she said. "Be nice. Besides, you are going to be the best hero out there." Her dad encouraged her. She smiled, happy to know she had his full support. Later on that day, Izuku was training with Iri, so she can be a good fighter and help people. After training, Iri went to speak with her dad. "Hey Papa, can we talk?" she said timidly. "Sure, what it is?" he asked. "Are you mad at me for being a hero?" She knew her dad would never be upset with her, however there were doubts. "Come here," he said, opening his arms. She ran into them for a hug. She buried her head in his shirt until Izuku lifted her head so she could look at him. "I could never be mad at you. In fact, I am thrilled for you. Every good parent wants their kids to follow their dreams and be better than them. You did both, and I am so happy for you. I am so proud of you, Iri. I know you will make a great hero," he said. At that moment, Iri burst into tears and hugged her dad tightly. He hugged her right back. It was a tough journey. It still is a tough journey. Thanks to her dad, she managed to become the best hero out there. One that saves everyone with a smile on her face, just like Deku. "Sweetie, what's wrong? Your form has been off," her dad asked, seeing their training wasn't working out well. Iri was admittedly distracted today. Normally she was top of her game and could easily fight her dad. However, today it was different. She took a lot more hits and cuts, and her dad was naturally worried for her. "Kota got in UA today. That means it's official," she said. Izuku sighed. He knew this life wasn't going to be easy for her. After all, it can be difficult with this kind of life. "Yeah, I know. It's hard to deal with. I know all of this is. You don't have to do this. You can change your mind," her father offered. "No, I made my decision a long time ago. I won't stand by in his society. It's corrupt and I want to fight against it," Iri stated. Izuku sighed. He didn't want this life for his daughter, but she was bound to be a part of it. "Just know you are allowed to leave whenever," Izuku said. Aa nodded and she hugged her dad. She didn't reject a single thing. She never would. "Hey, when can I go on a solo mission?" Iri asked excitedly. "When you're 45, her dad said. "But Dad," Iri complained. "Save it. We have a mission to go to. Get dressed, get all that makeup on, and be ready to cause some chaos," Izuku said with a twisted grin. Iri may have been upset with her dad, but that can wait. She was going to cause some chaos. She ran out and put on some makeup, just a few scars to make herself seem more intimidating. She put her jewelry on as well and finished getting dressed. Her aunt, Toga, and her dad were ready for her. "You ready, sweetie?" her aunt cheered. "Yes. Let's go kick some butt," Iri said. "I'm in charge, so follow everything I say," her dad said. Yeah, let's just go," Iri said as she rushed out the door. They left soon after. Iri waited for their little prey, waited for them to walk right into their trap. "All right, little Iri, ready?" Her aunt asked. As I'll ever be. Iri answered. You got this, sweetie, I believe in you. Her dad said. Iri jumped out and saw their targets. Hello boys, she said, getting their attention. They turned around. Word goes around you double-crossed the League of Villains. Iri said. Why does it matter? One of their targets said. Anyone that stabs us in the back. Well, Iri started. One of them set off a trap. As the saying goes, an eye for an eye, Iri said. The rest soon after fell into their trap. Aw sweetie, you did such a good job, Toga said. Not bad sweetie, now do you want to test out your quirk on one of them? Her dad offered. Toga spun one of their targets. You should, it's really cool how you use your quirk. Her aunt encouraged. Now let's not force her. What do you want to do, sweetie? Her dad asked. I want to test it out. Iri said. She grabbed one of them. She smiled at her target. You know, my quirk is really cool. Iri explained her capture. I can rewind time to the point you no longer exist. However, I have been learning how to bring someone back, just one problem. Iri continued. I only tested on animals. Let's see how good I am with people, Iri said as she laughed. The pure terror on her target's face was just too fun for her. Where have you been? Her dad shouted as Iri snuck back into the bar. She froze and stared at her dad. After a long moment of silence, I went to see a boy? Iri said. Her dad had his hands on his hips. You are a terrible liar, her dad said. Iri winced in pain. Come here, I'll bandage you up. Her father grabbed her and dragged Iri inside. Ow. Ow. Dad, stop. Let me use your quirk, Iri insisted. No, I am bandaging you up and better explain yourself, young lady, her dad said. Okay, so Iri really didn't like heroes or villains. Neither did Kota, so they said screw it and became vigilantes. It's kinda hard to be a vigilante when you have a villain family. However, that didn't matter. She had just been caught and was doing so well too. However, tonight she got carried away and now here she was. You will explain yourself right now, young lady. I have been worried sick. Look at you. You are bleeding. What happened? Did you get into a fight? Did you win? That's not important. You just need to tell me everything. Her dad rambled as he grabbed the first aid kit. He started to clean the wounds. Well, I wasn't lying when I said I was seeing a boy, Iri said. What did you and Kota do? Her dad said, freaking out. Okay, please don't freak out, Iri said. I won't. Izuku started. Promise, please. Iri cut him off. Fine, I promise, her dad said. Okay, so me and Kota have been vigilantes for a few months. We have been fighting crimes while helping some villains out too. We have been avoiding cops. We've been trying to not use our quirks so cops don't arrest us. I've only been using my quirks to heal really injured people and Kota helps me from getting myself killed. Also, I've been given the nickname the Healing Angel, Iri said far too fast for anyone to hear. However, her dad could hear everything. He listened as he finished cleaning up her wounds. He sighed and looked at her. Alright, how much training have you two gotten? Her dad asked. Only the one I have gotten from the league, Iri confesses. Her dad shakes his head. If you were planning to be a vigilante, you should have told me. I would love to help. You two need a lot of help. I don't want you to be reckless, her dad said. You're lecturing me about being reckless? Iri commented. Yeah, I know. I'm the world's biggest hypocrite. I want you kids to be better than me, her dad said. Dad, I'm sorry I lied to you. I just wanted to help people. Everyone, Iri said. And I am so proud you want to help people. I would love to help you both out. I can be your guy in the chair, Izuku said. The guy in the chair? Iri asked. Yes, I will help you guys out only if you want it. I mean, I've retired from being a villain. I wouldn't mind helping you kids out, her dad added. Iri started to cry as she hugged her dad. He hugged her back. A few weeks later, Kota was waiting for Iri, yet she was late. How can they patrol if his partner was late? I thought I told you guys to stop doing this, Eraserhead said. Oh, come on. We are being safe, Kota said. 1. This is very illegal. 2. You are far too young for this, Eraserhead started. And you're too old to still be a hero, yet here you are, Kota retorted. I'm only 41, Eraserhead pointed out. Aw, did I miss the lecture? Damn, should have come earlier, Iri said from behind them. About time, Kota scolded. Sorry, but our guy in the chair was holding me up, Iri said as she handed Kota an earpiece. I can't believe he actually is helping us, Kota said as he put on his earpiece. Eraserhead looked back at them. Guy in the chair? Please tell me he is a responsible individual. Eraserhead pleaded. Ouch, who's gonna tell him? Izuku said through the earpiece. Kota tried his best not to chuckle at him, and Iri was also fighting her laughter back. Judging by your reactions, I'm going to say I will be disappointed, Eraserhead said. Greatly, Iri said. I can't believe he is still a hero. Izuku said. Me too. Kota said. Hey Eraserhead, are gonna help us or continue lecturing us? Iri asked. He stared at them and sighed. Fine, I need to keep you problem children from getting yourselves killed, Eraserhead said. Good, because there is a robbery down the block. Better hurry, Izuku said. Hey, we got a robbery down the block. Ready? Iri said. Also I'll ever be, Kota said. Aizawa sighed, and before saying, alright problem children, let's do this. Izuku was having a shitty day, to put it bluntly. He was sent on a long mission by All for One and it was just brutal. He hated it the whole time. He missed Iri and just wanted to be with her. However, he couldn't, not yet anyways. He was finally going home. He came into the bar waving hello to everyone. Hey Giri, how was everything? Izuku asked. Everything went well Midoriya. Iri is taking a nap right now, he informed. Thanks again Giri. Let me settle down first before I go to Iri. Giri nodded and Izuku left to see everyone else. Toga and Twice warmly greeted him. Krusty Lips and Dabi were sulking in their corner. Mr. Compress and Spinner were also out on a mission. After about an hour of waiting, he went to wake up Iri. He quietly knocked on the door. He quietly opened the door. He walked over to her bed to check on her. However, his heart dropped. He removed the blankets, searched the room, but nothing. Iri wasn't here. That's fine, she might have been somewhere else. Izuku ran out of the room. He searched everywhere. She wasn't anywhere. Where is she? Did the heroes have her? No, the League would have told him, plus they would have never let that happen in the first place. Izuku searched the whole bar and Iri was nowhere to be found. He was rechecking every room again. Who are you looking for? Shigaraki asked. Not now, Krusty Lips. Izuku snapped back. Oh, I thought you would have wanted to know where Iri was. Shigaraki retorted. What do you mean? Izuku asked with full venom. I mean, you are pretty shitty father, for Shigaraki was cut off. All items in the room started floating. Anything that was sharp was flying towards his neck. What the hell did you do to my daughter? Izuku shouted. His eyes were glowing with fury. What did you do? Izuku repeated himself. You wouldn't, Shigaraki said. I will, if you don't talk. Now, talk, Izuku demanded. Shigaraki knew Izuku wouldn't kill him but make his life hell. Talk, Tenko, Izuku ordered. All for One wanted to meet her. You fucking asshole. Pick up the fucking phone, Izuku shouted. He was spamming the phone, but of course that asshole had to ignore him right now. The phone he was given was meant to call All for One directly. Izuku normally hated calling him. However, he had his kids, so calling him was necessary. All for One was ghosting Izuku right now. Lovely. Hey bastard, if you don't fucking pick up, I will cut that brat's throat. Now fucking up, Izuku shouted. Now, despite how pissed off Izuku was, he still needed to play smart. That's why Shigaraki was tied up and he was basically holding Kurogiri as a hostage. He won't listen to you, entitled brat, Shigaraki said. That's rich coming from you. Izuku snapped back. Master, please, you don't need to. Kurogiri on a good day would be able to calm Izuku down and reason with him. Today is not a good day. I don't want to hear a damn thing unless it's that bastard giving my daughter back. Izuku started after cutting off Kurogiri. She isn't even your real kid, Shigaraki pointed out. Someone as smart as him just said the dumbest thing Izuku has heard in a really long time. 1. She is my kid, I adopted her, take care of her, love her, and make sure she is safe like any other good parent. 2. You allowed her to basically get kidnapped while I was away, so be grateful I'm not skinning you right now. Finally 3. We had a fucking deal. All for One can use me for whatever fucked up experiment he has as long as he left me alone. This is clearly breaking our deal. So unless you don't like your tongue, you will shut the fuck up. Izuku normally would ignore Shigaraki or just be a dick to him. There were every few times Izuku would actually threaten Shigaraki. This was one of those times. Izuku's quirk was completely out of control. Everything around was floating. His hair was floating, and his eyes were glowing. He continued pacing around. Any object that wasn't bulleted to the around was flying towards the wall. Hey you little stupid bitch, if you don't answer, the next thing I pick will be heading towards that brat's head. Izuku warned over the phone again and even turned towards the television. I'll even give you to the count of 10. Izuku said in a fake cheerful tone. The pool table was broken beyond repair, but there were still pieces there. 10. The legs on the pool table started to float. 9. He turned toward Shigaraki. 8. He pulled out some of his knives. 1. There is no need to overreact, Izu. Don't fucking call me that. Where is my daughter? Izuku turned to the television. I'll come now. I wanted to get the chance to get to know our newest member. All for one smugly said. First, she isn't a member. Second, that's my daughter, you have no right to her. Third, we had a deal, you broke it. Izuku growled at him. Well, you were ignoring me. I needed to get your attention somehow. All for one casually said. Where is she? Izuku asked. She is with me, would you like to see her? You have to answer politely. All for one said tauntingly. Yes. Izuku answered annoyingly. Yes what? All for one replied. Izuku fought back with an eye roll. Yes please, he said through gritted teeth. Here she is. All for one said as he picked up Iri. She was asleep and looked peaceful. Izuku was happy to see that it was okay, however he knew she wasn't safe. If you took her quirk I swear to God I'll. Izuku started, but All for one chuckled. No, I didn't take her quirk, I would love for us to chat in person. All for one said. Fine. Release Kurogiri and untie Shigaraki. Fine. When we chat, Iri stays here until I dismiss both of you. Understand? Yes. The screen turned black and Izuku freed Kurogiri and Shigaraki. He received their location. Izuku grabbed his grappling hooks and left. It wasn't a long trip and he got there in time. He entered the building. He had been here before on the few times All for one wanted to test something on Izuku. However, this isn't the only building. He had many all over Japan and Izuku was sure he had been in most of them. He walked in the familiar building and there was the doctor. The same that diagnosed him as quirkless all those years ago. Well, hello my boy, he greeted. Where is he? Izuku said, getting right to the point. Where he always goes to, he answered. Izuku left without another word. I'm here, asshole, Izuku called out in the darkness. The imprisoned Nomus floated in the liquid. Well, hello to you too, Izu, All for one said. He turned in his chair while holding his daughter. She was peacefully asleep and he was holding her. Let's chat, Izu. We have a lot to discuss. Izuku stared at All for one, sitting so casually like there wasn't a problem in the world. Meanwhile, Izuku wanted nothing more than to rip his head off. Well, I'm here. Let's fucking talk, Izuku snapped. So harsh and in a rush. For what? All for one in a calming tone. You have my fucking kid, Izuku said, his eyes glowing. Right. So when did you find out? All for one asked. Izuku froze, not moving or reacting, but his blood turned cold. He didn't know how he found out. He went out of his way to act like he knew nothing. What are you talking about? Izuku acted confused. I think you know what I'm talking about. All for one called him out, but Izuku refused to say anything else. So when did you find out? I don't know what you are talking about, Izuku insisted. Was it when your mother was sent to that mental hospital? I promise you we made sure she went to a good hospital. All for one told Izuku. Leave my mother out of this, Izuku snapped, his quirk causing the building to shake. Control yourself, Izuku. All for one scolded him. We taught you better than that. Just give me Iri. I've had it with this conversation, Izuku said, focusing his quirk onto the nearest capsule. Or was it when you joined us? You had to be curious, after all, so many questions you had. All for one continued. Why does this even matter? Izuku asked desperately. Maybe you found out when you were at UA, none of us would be able to find out when you were undercover. All for one continued. I don't know what you are talking about. Izuku lifted the empty capsule and threw it towards him. All for one easily cut through it. You know exactly what I am talking about, Izuku, he shouted in a sadistic satisfaction, seeing how terrified Izuku was. I get why you would want to hide it. After all, the truth ruined your mother. Izuku was shaking as All for one started walking towards. Izuku's instinct started backing away. No one will ever need to know, Izuku. I promise what you say will stay between us. Not even Shigaraki will know. Because I don't want him to know either. If you admit it, you can leave with Iri. No one will ever know. All for one promised. Izuku stood there unsure what to do. When he found out, he swore to never tell anyone. The truth is what caused his mother to be thrown in a mental hospital. What ruined her being his mom. Now Izuku had his own kid to worry about. He didn't want to drag her in. Fine, I know. I've known for a while now. Before my mother was taken to the hospital. Izuku finally admitted quietly. actually feeling like a kid for the first time in a long time. He hadn't been so scared in a long time. All for One smiled fondly, before gently moving Izuku's hair to the side. To get a better look at his face, Izuku flinched at the unnatural affection. See? That wasn't so hard. All for One teased. Is that all you wanted, sir? Izuku forced himself to speak despite being so scared. All for One was too close for comfort. Come now, no need to be so formal. I did say no one else would know, All for One said. Why don't you try that again? Izuku's fist clenched into a ball. His nails started digging into his palm. He swore he would never say this aloud. Is that all you wanted, Dad? Izuku forced himself to say. All for One smiled satisfied. Yes, that's all. Iri is in the next room, having a nice long nap. You can get your daughter, son. Izuku watched All for One return to his seat before he quickly left to get Iri. Iri woke up seeing her papa holding her. They were back in their room, laying on the bed comfortably. How did you sleep? Deku spoke quietly. Good, I took a really long nap. Iri sounded really confused but didn't question it. Hey, don't worry about that. Tomorrow let's get ice cream, okay? Izuku told her happily as he held onto her tightly. Yes. Iri sounded happy at that idea. Izuku merely smiled as he let Iri play on her tablet for a bit before going back to bed. He just held her tightly and wiped away his tears. He had a really long day.